Welcome back into the Reel with Joseph Lamtman. I am your host, Joseph Lamtman. Different version of the Reel today. We're just checking in with you guys, checking in on each other. A little laid back edition. Got my guys up here. Mike's in the house. Mike, what's happening?
Good evening.
Jeremy's in the house. Jeremy, what's going on, dude?
Not much, man.
All right, Dad's in the house, although we're in the
Big
same
schnooks.
house. So. What's going on, Dad?
Big schnooks. Ice in my back.
Ice in your back. Why are you icing your back?
Yeah, you all right?
I was outside working all day today, so it's a little sore. I'm an old fart now.
Got old bones.
But yeah, we wanted to come up here and just kind of check in and stuff, see how you guys are doing and how we're all doing and stuff. And we're watching this Monday night game as well. What do we got? We got the Chargers and Jets, Mike. Mike and I were already talking about it. Mike, you were already talking about this Jets defense.
So good. Like, they are wasting it. It's wild. Like, but it's so good. It's Super Bowl quality, but it's not. We were talking about it before you guys came up, and we were like, it's not like the Browns defense. The Browns defense will win you a game, like, by themselves. Like, they were winning games with PJ Walker, and it's like Zach Wilson is objectively better than PJ Walker, but they just can't pull it out. They struggle against the Tyrod Taylor-led Giants. If that says anything. Prayers up to the neck, Zach Wilson.
To the neck.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Daniel Jones. Speaking of the Giants, the neck. Get it? Because he's.
Oh yeah. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Oh yeah. I think he tore his ACL. I think they thought he did. But,
yeah. No, he tore his shit.
They did. Well, last night when they put out their report, the initial reports were they feared he tore his ACL. So he did actually tear it.
Yeah. He tore it. Yeah.
What's going on with Jed? Is Jed? I heard he's coming. He's not on out for the year.
He's on IR. Yeah, he's not out for the season. It's an. They didn't specify, but they said it's an MCL injury. So, which isn't nearly as bad.
Well, I got a text from Austin today. He was pissed because he won't be out for the rest of the season.
Jesus God. Here, you cannot like a guy, but
I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah. I mean, God damn.
I thought Jed was playing better the last couple
He's
weeks.
Been playing good. That's what I was saying.
I think he's been better.
See, there are people that will never like him just because of his body language, and it looks like he doesn't give a fuck on the field. But even the past 3 weeks, he's been celebrating with the team. Like, even that's been mitigated. So I don't know. Maybe it's like too little, too late for some people.
Yeah, Jerry, what was your? We didn't get you on. You're busy last night. What was your take on the game yesterday?
I like that hoodie.
Yeah, what is that hoodie?
Send news. I love it.
Gosh.
I love it so much. That's the most Jeremy Lynch hoodie I've ever seen.
Right up your alley, Jeremy.
That's
sick.
And figures he'd put it on when he's on with a bunch of guys.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's your kind of hoodie right there.
It's a ramen noodle bowl. Send nudes.
Yeah. And don't worry, Jeremy. That hoodie's working. You're gonna get a surprise later after this.
Wow.
Wow.
Hit me with the Owen Wilson. Mike. Wow.
Yeah. All right,
what was that?
Wow.
That's why he wore it, just for you.
Yeah, just for me. He knew I was coming up. He knew I got that fresh cut. Yeah. Saw the salon. I finally got Josh Morosco's barber. Look at that. It's almost looking like his too. It's got that wisp.
Yeah, it does look like Morosco.
Right?
Yeah. What did you say last night about Morosco's hair? You said he's got the he goes to.
I said that it looks like he goes to a barber that like people ask him about, and he'll never tell you where he goes. Like it's a secret, and like it's and they'll get upset if you don't say salon in a French accent.
Yeah, that's what it was. You said he says he doesn't go to salon; he goes to the salon.
His hair is always on point; it always looks the same. Like I don't think I've ever had the same haircut twice. Like.
You've had a lot of different haircuts since we've done this podcast.
Yeah, dude. I don't think I've ever had the same haircut twice in my life. I always go somewhere. The craziest
thing you had though is when you had the whole little thing last year. At first you had the
my Fu Manchu.
Then you cut it down to that. Then you cut it down to just a stash, and then you just shaved it all off.
Dude, I miss mustache, Mike. I looked good with that mustache. I looked like, oh God. Hey, Schnooks, who is that crazy billionaire back in the 60s? He built planes.
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes. I looked like Howard Hughes with that mustache. It was fucking awesome.
I
Minus
think
the
you look like
weirdness.
Nick Mason's. You look like.
You said you look like Howard Hughes.
Yeah, Howard Hughes minus the crazy. Have you ever heard stories, Joseph, about Howard Hughes?
No, enlighten me.
He is one of the most brilliant aeronautical minds ever. Like, without him, we wouldn't have a lot of our modern jet engines, and the air industry wouldn't be anything near what it is today. He made stride after stride after stride. This dude was a billionaire in the 50s and 60s. So he mad money, right?
There, yeah, you kind of got the little hair. You got the hair
Yeah.
going like him right now, right there. That one.
But this guy, notoriously kind of crazy. He was a wildly known eccentric. So he loved Las Vegas, right? He stayed in Las Vegas. He loved the Sands Hotel so much that they stocked this ice cream for him. Or no, he went in one time. They had this ice cream. It was like a peanut butter banana ice cream. And he loved it so much, he paid the hotel an exorbitant sum of money to make sure it was always stocked when he went there.
Uh-huh.
And they did not run out until 20 years after this guy died. Not only that, but from his hotel room, there was a casino across the street. I believe it was called the Silver Rush or something like that casino. And the light from the sign was bothering him. So he purchased the casino and just to turn off the sign. And like bunch of crazy shit. Like he was just a wild dude.
Well, he was
Here's
supposed to be a little crazy.
He was crazy. Like when he died, like he hadn't trimmed his beard. He hadn't trimmed his hair. He didn't trim his fingernails. He was peeing in buckets. Like he was like insane.
Yeah.
But also one of the most
here,
brilliant men to ever live.
Yeah, it says he gained eminence in Hollywood in the late 1920s, making big budget and often controversial films such as The Racket, Hell's Angels, Scarface, and The Outlaw.
I didn't even know he made movies.
He's considered one of the most significant aviators in history. Besides designing and building planes, he risked his own life several times testing planes and setting new air speed records. So yeah, he must have been a little crazy if he's like, I want to be the first guy to go in the air and see if the shit works. If it doesn't,
that's wild. He even made movies back then. See, I didn't even know that. This dude did everything.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it says right here, Hughes is also remembered for his eccentric behavior and reclusive lifestyle in his later life, caused in part by his worsening obsessive OCD.
Yeah.
And chronic pain. At the time of his death, he was one of the wealthiest people in the world and perhaps the loneliest. This is from thefamouspeople.com. Huh.
Yeah. There was a book I read about him, and it was telling. Like, in our church, they actually talked about, like, here, if you ever want a story of how money doesn't buy happiness, it just buys comfortability, read about Howard Hughes, because this guy was about as successful as you can get and was, like you just read in that brief excerpt, super lonely, died a madman, and like, you know, had nobody.
I remember for my 8th grade year, we had to pick somebody. It was called a term paper we had to do. So you would I did Henry Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied about Henry Ford. I didn't know this. My great grandmother, my mom's grandmother, and her father, or not her father, her husband, excuse me, opened up, what was it, the Ford dealership up there in New England, Dad? What was that Ford?
We have Portsmouth Ford, and then he had 2 Ford stores up there.
Yeah, and I saw the photo of both of them with Henry Ford.
That's fucking sick.
And I
what
remember,
an amazing piece of history.
Yeah, when I would talk to her, or my mom would somebody talk about it, she remembered it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we talked about it when we were up there last time, Dad. But I remember hearing about that photo and seeing that when I was doing that report. Yeah, they knew Henry Ford, and they had the Ford dealerships up there in New England. So I was like, that's a little.
Well, at one point, those were like the 2 I think Nanny said those were the two largest Ford stores in the eastern half of the United States at one point.
Yeah. Where were they at in Dover?
One was in Dover, one was in Portsmouth. Well, Portsmouth's still there.
Yeah.
It's still
Off of Route
it's still
1.
it's still Portsmouth Ford, and that other one's right by JT's, right by the Weather Vane.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called now, but it's still right there in Dover Point Road.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what
Yeah,
the
that's crazy.
fuck?
That's a
I-
fun fact. I didn't know that until
I did a
you told
paper
me.
on Thomas Edison, and I learned he was a goddamn thief. Dude invented fucking nothing. Dude's an asshole. He's a con man, and he killed an elephant.
Killed an elephant.
Yeah, Thomas Edison. So, like, he was a con man, like legit. So Nikola Tesla invented the light bulb, but he couldn't find out the proper. So you know how light bulbs, they have two pieces of metal, and you put electricity through them, and it makes a light,
Yeah.
and it's able to hold that. So Nikola Tesla invented the light bulb and used two pieces of metal that would burn out in like a couple hours, but he invented the light bulb. Thomas Edison, all he did was he basically stole Tesla's design and then kept trying two different metals legitimately, just knew nothing about science and just kept trying two different metals. Like he tried like 200 different combinations or something crazy until he found one that would last longer than Tesla's, and then sold it as his own invention. He was just a businessman. He knew nothing about science. He was not an inventor. He got lucky. He hit that fucking scratch off. And yeah, the elephant thing. So during a show, because like to sell things, right, there was no TV and radio wasn't even readily available at that point. So like you would do like exhibitions where you would like the World Fair almost on a smaller scale. Like people would come out, see what you're peddling, and decide whether to buy it or not.
Yeah.
And Edison was trying to show the powers of electricity and trying to sell it to city municipalities. And he was like, let me show you what electricity, how powerful it is. And he fucking electrocuted an elephant to death.
Damn. I never
Yeah.
knew that.
What an asshole. Fuck Thomas Edison.
All right. Mike's not a fan. Jeremy, what's going on, buddy? What do you got going on?
Yeah, you've been quiet, Jeremy. We're just talking
He
about
just got home from work
historical
today,
American
started winding
figures.
down.
Since I've came on, Mike's been talking. So
I'm sorry.
letting him talk.
I'm a blabbermouth. That's on me.
Yeah,
You can
Mike,
you can interrupt me.
Mike's
That's
give us
rude.
all
I'm
his
not going to
lesson.
interrupt you.
You can interrupt me, buddy. I'm sorry. Yeah, how you doing, Jeremy?
What did you say?
Oh, he's chocolate away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the shower before we go to the
I
hospital.
didn't know that though. Killed an elephant. That's
Yeah, straight
I'll
up.
probably wake up
that's
at like
interesting.
6:30.
What'd you have going on today,
Is that
Mike?
fine?
Just hanging out and stuff.
Yeah, I worked today.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
That-
Wife was
Oh, you're
asking
fine.
if
Go
I'm
ahead.
showering before we go to the hospital in the morning.
All right.
I'm about to go
Hold
in there looking at all AK Rowdy.
I will be
Straight-
right back. The wife is
straight
calling.
gray-
In a momento.
gray sweatpants,
You're good.
no draws.
Would you get your reaction to the game yesterday? What'd you think?
I thought the defense was dominant. I've tried talking about him twice today, and his name evades me. But the guy that had the strip sack.
Oh, Shelby Harris.
No, I don't think it was Harris. I thought it was beginning with a T.
Harris had one.
Was it Harris?
Yeah, it was Shelby
94,
Harris.
I think 94. I think is his number.
Uh,
Big man in the middle.
Sorry about that. The wife called me real quick.
Mike, who had the strip sack yesterday? Tomlinson.
I mean, there were no
Was it
Shelby Harris.
Yeah, it was
Harris.
Shelby.
It was
Tomlinson
him
had 3
and
sacks.
and then Tomlinson were just. It was nice to see somebody other than Myles Garrett be able to get penetration. You know,
The
what I mean?
ZD had one
'Cause
too.
if they can, if the middle is getting penetration, that forces them out, and then forces them right into Garrett. I mean, it's a beautiful setup.
Khalil Mack can
You
still
know,
ball, dude.
usually the stop it, Joe. talking about legit penetration.
That's you always talking about penetration.
Why are you talking about penetration, Jeremy?
No, but legit. Granted, most of it was probably, because they were doubling Garrett.
Yeah.
But to see some of the guys in the middle be able to beat that one-on-one matchup says a lot. Now, granted, this week's going to be a true test.
Yeah, we put a juggernaut this week. Probably the hottest team in the league.
I think it's going to be a great game. I think we have a good shot. We're both showing different looks. Baltimore's changed a lot. We didn't have Deshaun our last time, and the offense was putting the defense in some really bad spots. They got gassed early. I think it's going to be a different song and dance. I think we have a chance to win. I don't think it's going to be an easy win if we pull it out, but it's going to be a different song and dance than the last one.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think of Watson yesterday, Jeremy?
Greg the leg doing the only thing the Jets can do.
I had mixed emotions about it.
Really?
Okay.
And the reason I have mixed emotions is
We're 20 seconds in.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to reset a password.
Same.
The reason I have mixed emotions is
Password backwards.
Several throws that I feel like should have been made
Yeah.
and weren't. As far as example being the fucking dirt ball on 3rd and 3. Granted, the receiver probably could have caught it.
Oh, you talk about the one to Jordan Akins?
No, the one to the tight end where he
had Jordan Akins.
Yeah, Akins
had to dive down on the ground. Like,
I mean,
you're gonna have bad throws.
Yeah.
Granted, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that throw when you hit Amari over the top in perfect stride, which I don't know the last time a Browns quarterback has hit a deep receiver.
It has been a while.
And he didn't have to turn around and come back to it or wait on it or, you know what I mean, completely, jump off of his route to get it. So, I mean, he threw a dime on that one. So that's why I said hit or miss.
And he made that play on a scramble, too.
When you're paying somebody $260 million, which is more than
230.
Tom Brady ever made, you expect them to make the throws that they should make. When you're at that level, that talented, getting paid that much money. Now, granted, it was his first week back after not playing for a month, so you're going to have some rust. But for the most part, I thought it was I'm being optimistic to what could come. Now, made me a little nervous the whole time he's sitting on the sideline. He's working that shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, it's the first time he's thrown in a while, and even Stefanski said after the game he's fine. It's just, you got to keep it loose and do the calisthenics to make sure you're keeping that muscle loose so it doesn't, because, you're putting an injured shoulder under constant work. I mean, we've all worked out. So, when you're doing that after an injury, you want to make
Michael?
Yeah.
You said that like
I mean, I
like
assume you have. I know Snooks has. I know Joseph does.
I did earlier today. I
wasn't questioning whether Joseph or Joe has worked out.
When's the last time you worked out, Mike?
I do push-ups every day.
How many?
As many as I can before I can't.
He drinks it. He does a push-up for every beer he drinks. So the more push-ups he does, the more beers he can drink.
I generally do more push-ups than I do beers.
I'm just messing with you, buddy.
I know you are. You handsome little man. You
broke that down like
what the fuck?
you broke that down like you just. I thought you were used to be a professional weightlifter or something. Like we all used to do this.
I mean, I will admit,
well, you
when I was in high
every
school,
day, didn't you?
Huh?
You used to go
when I was in high school, I went hard. I looked so good back then. Like I look at pictures of old me and it makes modern me sad. because of how good I looked. Like, because I think I've told you this before, Schnooks, but I don't know if I told Jeremy. So I open enrolled to the Falls my sophomore and junior year because my parents moved to Stowe, but I was like, you know, angsty teen, and I was like, I don't want to go to Stowe. All my friends are here. So they open enrolled me, but the only way I could get to school, because I lived in Stowe and, you know, went to the Falls, was if my stepdad drove me. And he, at the time, didn't have a supervisor position at his company yet. So he was still doing a normal factory job. And he worked at International Paper in Aurora, so it was on his way. But the problem with that is my stepdad, like most factory jobs at like first shift, woke up at like 4:30 in the morning. And I had to get up with him. And he would drop me off at the NAT at 5:30. And I would go in, I'd work out for about an hour and a half. And from 7 until I knew I had to like get changed and walk across the street to the high school, I would shoot around a basketball. Yeah. So like I did that for 2 years and I felt and looked great. And then I discovered nicotine and it ruined me.
That was the end of that. I don't think you and I ever realized how many times we really were around each other growing up. We just
right. I'm sure, you know, I always tried to remember like when we started getting close, like actively tried to remember, like, damn, have I ever met Joseph like in passing?
We definitely passed each other many times.
We did, but
going to the NAT, Falls High, going to the games, the light, on Friday nights, partying.
Yeah, but the thing was, like, my sister was because you're 3 years younger than me.
How old are you?
27.
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, so my sister's 3 years younger than me. So like when I was in high school, I didn't tend to hang around younger people because I was like, oh man, I don't want to hang out with my sister's friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like when she started going to high school, it was weird. And by that time, you were a freshman. I was a senior, and I was in Stowe at that point because my grades weren't good enough to keep open enrolling. So I finished my high school tenure in Stowe. So I don't know whose 10-year reunion I'm going to. That's going to be a difficult decision.
Yeah. Jeremy, what do you think Mike was like in high school, if you had to guess?
In high school?
If you had a picture of Mike, high school Michael Antonace, what is that picture in your head?
Oh, I picture him as the I don't know if I want to say it.
Say it. You can't say anything to hurt me. I've got invincible armor.
I picture Mike as like the semi-popular kind of geeky kid that just kind of gets along with everybody.
You're actually pretty on point. I was a bit more of a class clown, but you're pretty on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got along with everybody. I didn't start no problem with nobody. If you want to see what high school Mike looks, we could always put a deep dive on my Facebook page on the screen. That'd be funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull that up.
Pull it up. Let's do it. I ain't afraid. We'll do Jeremy next.
We already went to Jeremy's Instagram before.
Oh,
yeah,
he
was a great sport that night. Jeremy was the best. His stories were. You had a story for every photo. I never seen anything like it. Like it was just like.
That was funny that night. That was a good show.
Yeah, that was good. You've had a lot of adventures in your life, Jeremy.
I definitely have.
What do you think was probably the most adventurous time in your life?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Definitely. Well, not even close. Would be when I lived off of Market Street in Canton. We had it's actually where I lived when I met my wife. We had a party house. Me and my two other roommates, and we did a lot of crazy shit.
What kind of crazy stuff we talking about?
Oh boy, I mean, you name it.
Give us an example. What was one of the craziest things you guys have done?
Do you really want me to name it? I can start naming shit. You tell me yes or no.
Oh, go ahead, fire away.
Uh,
I'll start
Go ahead.
naming it.
no. I mean,
That's
going camping at Atwood and
Watson.
dropping 5 tabs of acid and tripping your balls off in the middle of the woods around
Five's
a
a lot.
campfire. I mean, shit, fucking
Here,
just
I
about
myself was.
anything. I mean, it was like a year or a year and a half before I met Dushka, and I was in my rebellious stage from having like a super not being able to do anything
Yeah.
in high school, like anything other than sports and academics. So I
Yeah.
was going through my party stage of life, and thank God that I met Dushka and got my shit together.
Yeah. So, Lieutenant Lynch used to be a wild man.
That would be an understatement.
I think the craziest story though you told
Actually,
me was
speaking of Lieutenant Lynch, dude, last night me and Dushka were watching our show SWAT,
yeah
and there's a Lieutenant Lynch, and it's a
on the
female.
show.
Her name is
Yeah. Anybody doesn't
Patricia
know,
Lynch.
Jerry. Why don't you tell your father? He was a cop growing up, right? And he give people
Correct.
a little background here.
My dad was a police officer. I'm not going to say where,
No, we don't do that.
because there's, for his safety.
Yeah, no,
But
we don't have to say.
anywho,
But you grew up in a home with a father who was a police officer.
yeah. My mom also worked in law enforcement, still does.
Your mom's a dispatcher, isn't she?
Yeah.
Nice.
She used to work the road before I was born.
Oh, I didn't know that. Your mom's a patrolman? A patrol?
Yeah.
I
Before
didn't
was
know
born. And then when I was born, she switched to dispatch.
that. Has she been
What
with the
was
same
that like
department
growing up
all
in
this
a?
time?
No, she was at the same department my dad was at. And then
Yeah.
when my mom and dad got divorced, my mom went and worked for the Barberton municipality building. She was a clerk of courts.
Yeah.
And then she did that for 8 years. I think 8 years. And then the current clerk didn't get reelected. And they cleaned house. My mom lost her job. And now she's been at New Franklin. Well, was New Franklin for like 10 years, and then New Franklin just sold out to a conglomerate, like where they do like the multi-command center, where
Yeah.
they do like 7 or 8 different jurisdictions between police, fire, EMS, and all that. So now she was the supervisor for 2 years, the night shift supervisor, and she just stepped down and asked to just be a dispatcher again. She didn't want to be a supervisor because they kept adding more jurisdictions that they covered and not hiring any more people.
What was that like growing up in a house with law enforcement parents?
Like you imagine it.
Like very,
Strict. You didn't
very
get away with
strict.
anything. My dad knew what I planned to do before I even did it. Expectations were, you got good grades, or you did nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, everything was just kind of in line with the profession, kind of in a way.
Yeah, my dad was, loving. Growing up, he was my football, basketball, and baseball coach when I was little. Coached me in baseball all the way up until high school.
Yeah.
coached basketball. He was involved, heavily involved, and it was. But at the same time, rewarded you and you did something well. But we definitely got our ass beat if
Yeah.
we didn't listen or. The main thing that we used to get our ass beat for is Dad worked midnights for a long, long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we come home from school, like after football practice or whatever, if we were too loud and woke Dad up before he had to go in, Mom wasn't playing no games. And if Dad woke up, you were getting cracked with the belt.
Damn. Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny. My dad and I, we ran somewhere earlier. We were talking about, like, I was looking back where I am now in my journey and stuff, and thinking about, where I'm at in my life now. And Dad, we were talking about earlier, just like, so we've all, I think, I don't know about you, Mike, but like, I know, like, my dad, Jeremy, myself, like, growing up and around, like, the school I went to growing up at times, great school, but a lot of that kind of like overcorrection sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you said, like, when you got out of that, you wanted to go party a little bit or live life a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's something when you
Right.
get older and you realize that, and you get away from it, you start want to feel freer,
Yeah.
especially like somebody like
Yep.
me, my journey coming back now. Like, it's like I was telling my dad, I was like, only thing I desire now is just kind of just get my life back to where I want it. You know what I mean? Living my life again.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
feel that.
My main thing was like I just wanted to. I always wanted, like, I don't know. Always was looking to go into a relationship. Like, I wouldn't go into a relationship unless I thought there was a chance I could spend long term with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't just gonna date somebody just to fucking date somebody.
Right. Just to
Like,
mess
it's either
around.
like there are other qualities in this person. Now, granted, in my party stage, I'm not saying I had the greatest of judgment when it came to that.
Mm.
But at that time, I could justify it as far
Yeah.
as, you know. But I just wanted to get it all out of me.
Yeah.
Like it's like this is a terrible analogy, but I felt like a caged animal, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like and during school, like football was when I got it out of me. Like
Yeah. That was like
I
your
just
area to let it out because you can actually
yeah, because
physically hit people.
I just wanted to fuck people up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like a lot of people
That's
that
where
grew
like
up
got
like
all my
that.
aggression out.
Yeah.
In baseball, it's kind of you can't really.
You try to smash a baseball, but sometimes you can swing and miss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the
Something
ideal
about
thing to
football,
do.
or I'd say even
It's
like
cathartic.
basketball even too. I think basketball and football are a little different. Football, it's a contact sport. You can physically assault another human being. But
Mm-hmm.
I think like in basketball too, you can. If you're somebody that dominates the ball, you can just take your anger out by just score, dominating the game. But yeah, you're right. Football, it's like you hear a lot of guys too, like Mike Tyson's story growing up. Grew up rough in Brownsville, and just boxing was his outlet just to let it all out.
Yeah, but I mean, when that all went away, it went to the okay. I've never been able to do this. I've never been able to go out and sit at the bar and have some drinks. Uh, did I tell you the story about the first time I ever smoked a doobie?
Doobie.
No, that should be interesting.
Doobie.
Doobie.
So the first time I ever smoked a doobie was before my second to last varsity baseball game.
This
It
is
was
in the
about
Vern.
it was like 2 hours before the game. And it's the first time you smoke, it's not like 45 minutes and you're back to normal because you have zero tolerance for it. You've never
Right.
experienced it. But let's just say I may or may not have had a slightly slower reaction time the entire game, to the point where my dad comes up to me and he goes, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, nothing. I just got some dirt in my eye, not really feeling it today, kind of feeling out of it. My dad looked me dead in the face and he goes, "Are you fucking high right now?"
Yeah.
Damn.
And I was like, no, I just fucking got a catcher's mask on. It's 90-some degrees. I got dust kicked up in my face. It's like, he goes, "Your reaction time at the plate's been fucking terrible."
Yeah, the ball's just going past in the backstop every time.
Dude, I
He's
swear
throwing
to
the
God,
ball.
bro.
Right,
Moving
you're
in
supposed,
slow motion out there.
supposed to gun
I-
it down to second. He's gunning it down to first. Like,
Dude,
Yeah.
no, not that bad.
no, it wasn't
But
that
no,
bad.
like, I shit you not, I struck out twice my entire senior year, and it was that game I struck out twice. My third at bat, I slapped one in the gap between first and second, and ended up getting a little single out of it. But I was fucking lucky I got that because I was late.
I had a teammate come to
It
practice
normally would
high.
have been it was a belt high over the middle fastball where normally you would turn and drive it, and I was late. It was
Yeah.
definitely interesting, but I almost shit my pants. My dad was like, "Are you fucking high right now?"
I remember one time, Dad, you remember this? I had a teammate one time come to practice high.
Yep.
And,
I remember.
this kid didn't play much. It was on our national championship team. He just didn't play much. You know, he was kind of like new first year guy, but he just wanted to be there and have fun. And he was part of the team. We liked him. One day we're up at Ross Park, and he was up there like an hour beforehand, and smoking with his buddies, and he was probably like 12, 13 years old, and
Jesus, that's
this
young.
was this was Tuesday practice too. So Tuesday is the most physical practice of the week by far. It's a lot of people call it Bloody Tuesdays, but so we were doing 2-on-2 like Oklahoma drills where it's like one side's got the ball, the other side's got the defense. You got to prevent them from getting to the other side, and whoever wins, moves on and advances. And it's head on, like 10 yards, full speed collision, like a intense drill. So we throw this kid out there, and he goes up there against. We got the Contrell on the team, the hardest hitter. We got Keandre, our hardest hitter. We got Devo. We got all these guys out there, and this kid's just taking hits. And we've never seen this kid before. Like, this is like middle of the season now. He's out there just taking hits. I mean, and just keeps going. He would like take a hit, he'd wobble his head, he'd run the ball, and he'd keep running, he'd score. And we're all like, "What the hell's going on?" So finally, he gets through the whole we did competition with like a whole tournament. This son bitch went through everybody and was just getting blasted and just kept going. He didn't feel anything. He was so high, he didn't feel anything. And finally, we all realized that he was not right. Like, he was just not his normal self. But he was playing well, so he gets down to the last set. It's the two hardest hitters on the team, and he eventually runs. And he runs and he takes his giant hit. I remember he just spun off and he went and scored and won the drill. And we were all just stunned. I remember, but the one thing that stood out to me the most was my coach, John. He was like, "Damn," he's like, "You should come to practice high every day."
Yeah.
He did
like,
too.
He's like, "Just come to practice and come to the games high every day."
I remember your dad telling that story.
Yeah, and it was the craziest thing I ever saw. Like, this kid was, I mean, he was taking hits. Like, you thought this kid, like, how is he still standing up? And he just didn't feel it. He would I remember after a couple of them, he was just like wobbling back to the beginning. They're like, "All right," he's like, "I'm gonna keep going."
Sean. He said, "Damn, boy, come practice high every day."
Yeah,
Damn, boy.
That's awesome.
yeah, but it's crazy. Like you mentioned, though, it's like that's something I'm going through now. Getting out of 8 years of anxiety, I feel like I've been locked in the house or years I was locked in the house. Like you said, Jerry, once you get out and you start to get a little more freedom again, for me, it feels like it's almost like getting out of prison, like kind of readjusting to normal life again. It's bizarre. I don't know about you, Mike. Mike, I know you were going through that for a
In
little
a
bit.
different aspect, though. You know what I mean? Yours is,
Yeah.
I remember the first time, well, not the first time, but the most memorable time I had from smoking doobies, as Lynch so provocatively called them,
Provocatively.
It was me, and I probably shouldn't name the other people, but it was me and two other people,
Please don't.
and they rolled up 3 Swisher Sweets full of it, and
Wow.
we were just
Holy
passing.
shit.
Yeah, it was a lot, and we were passing all 3 of them around in a Crown Victoria, driving through the valley, and then someone had the bright idea to go on a hike, and I don't think I had ever been to that point before, but we're like climbing up. I don't know where we are in the national park, but we're climbing up these rocks, and I'm struggling to get up the rocks, and I'm on all fours climbing up this hill on these rocks because I'm just so out of my mind, and I just remember getting really dehydrated halfway through, and like I don't know how, but there was a vending machine with some freaking waters in there. I bought like 4 of them, drank 2 of them, threw up, and then we went back into the Crown Victoria, and there were 2 more. And then we continuously drove around the valley until like midnight. Good times.
Damn. Yeah, Dad, I know you talked about that many times, and you finally got freedom when you got older because I know you grew up in a very strict house. But you and your friends were quite the wild bunch for sure.
Yeah, we were. I could have went to jail for a lot of things.
I went to jail.
Yeah.
I mean,
Prison.
we were wild as hell. We were certainly not to be messed with. Because I told you a lot of the stories, but there's a lot of stuff I've never told you. But I don't know. For me, it wasn't. Man, it was really strict in my house. Like my senior year, I had to be home at 9:00. Prom night, I had to be home at 10. Here, how grandma is, and
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was kind of the same way. I mean, hell, I can remember when I turned 18. They stopped telling me that they didn't. I didn't have a curfew then, and but I can remember coming home. I'd come in there through the garage on Bath Road, and I'd come in the media room and sitting in the dark is my mom. It's 2 a.m. or my dad's still up. Yeah, they couldn't sleep till I got home. So, but it was like, but my mom would be like, still ask me 100 questions. Where were you? Where were you? And I'm like, Mom, you know what I mean? I've been a pretty damn good kid. I've been under rules my whole life. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I work. I own a company. I work my ass off. So, so when I got out there, I don't think I really, tell you the truth, I don't think I really had a childhood. I really don't think I have. Because when I got out of high school, I opened a company a month later, and just worked so much. And then then my mom and dad get the divorce, and I take on financial and emotional responsibility for my mom, financial responsibility for my brother. I got to deal with all that crazy shit that's going on. Then get married, have a kid, continue to own the company. Company closes. I have another kid. I don't think I really ever have. But I've never really had the urge to go out and most kids, if they live under that kind of rule, they get out and they go crazy. I don't know. For some reason, I just never really had a desire to. I don't know. I'm not saying it was right the way what I did, but gosh darn, I was working 16, 17 hours a day doing heavy labor.
Yeah.
And I just never really, you know what it was? It kept me so busy. I never had time to go out and get in trouble. I just couldn't. The company just ran the hell out of me, and then all the responsibility I had. So I don't know, but I don't have any regrets.
Yeah, because you were working, 7 years old. I think you worked so hard one time you almost lost your thumb.
Yeah, Spent my whole life. I mean, it was abusive the way he made us work. I mean, I can never do that to you or Julia, but it was abusive. Now, it's just all he knew.
Right.
My dad went to work full time. He's 13 years old, doing labor, and but it was also a lot of it was like, here I'm gonna have 5 ton of rock dropped off. You guys better have this shit done by the time I get home. You're getting your asses beat. You know what I mean? And it was just like, so a lot of it was just for doing it out of fear.
Yeah.
But I spent my whole life. But I've had a good life though. I don't have any complaints.
We should get you a tattoo,
Joe.
Schnucks.
Huh?
Did you
I said
say
we-
beat or eat?
What's that?
Did you say beat or eat?
Shut up. He's stupid.
And I said, Schnucks, we got to get you a tattoo. We got to get you to live a little. We're going to get you a tattoo. You want to get a tattoo with me? I'll do a tattoo.
No, no tattoo.
I'll do a tattoo. Do you have a tattoo, Mike?
I have several.
Yeah, he's got one that says "fucking bird up."
I do.
Whatever
That's
the
on my
hell that
shoulder.
means.
Bird.
Wait, how did you
Jordan
get this
Smith went
tattoo?
and got them together.
Bird up.
You have any
Bird up,
tattoos,
dude.
Jeremy?
I have 0 tattoos.
I've got, no,
I hate
and then I got
needles.
this one. This one's my favorite.
Bird up.
I don't know if you can see that one.
Michael Myers.
Yep.
Wait, put it down again. We didn't really see it.
Bird
Light.
up.
Damn. All right. Wait,
I
so you
got
have
that at the Incarceration Music Festival. I had had no preparation, didn't know I was getting a tattoo, had one Budweiser, and it took
See that
5
catch
hours.
that game?
Nothing to eat, and it was 90 degrees. Holy shit.
You see that
Keenan
catch just
Allen?
now?
Yeah, Keenan
Keenan
Allen.
Allen is
Keenan
good,
Allen
man.
is a beast.
Dog.
Damn. Dude, that's one of the greatest catches I've ever seen.
Tiptoeing back. Damn.
Dog.
Gosh. Yeah, he's tiptoeing backwards, catches it with his right hand or left hand, one-handed.
And Justin Herbert gets second.
Yeah.
Bryce Huff.
Look at that.
Wait, so what is this tattoo on your shoulder again? It says what?
It says
Bird
bird
up.
up in Arabian font.
And what made you get that?
It was a bet.
Remember when he had his prayer rug and the Quran?
You get a prayer
So you
rug?
figured if you got Arabic font,
That's
it
not
would
true at all.
go together.
No, it was a bet I had with Jordan Smith. We had first met and we had known each other about 3 weeks. And I don't know where the bet came from. We were bored as hell. It was like a Friday or something. I can't remember. There was nothing happening. And we just got to talking, and a bet was made about a tattoo. And Jason Beery comes by and keeps egging us on, like, "Yeah, you won't do it." And starts laughing like Beery used to. And I was like, "I do it. I don't give a shit. Like it's going to all rot off eventually anyway." And so right after work, we went to Defiance Tattoo in Kent. Got the tattoo, and Beery proceeded to buy me and Jordan Smith 3 shots. And Beery made sure to grab his wife to watch because he thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Damn.
Bird up.
Bird up.
Wow.
And once Brett got wind of it, he didn't let that die for weeks. He was constant.
I never knew about it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm surprised because Brett always mentioned it in a couple meetings a bunch of times. He was like, "Oh, what did he say?"
There's high school Antonace right there, Jeremy.
Oh yeah, it's me and my buddy Matt.
Look at this
Damn.
fucking nut.
I'm on the phone, not expecting a
On the
picture. It's
phone.
graduation day.
Oh my
Mike.
god.
That's
Look
a
at my
look at that. There are more flattering pictures than that one.
Oh man.
sexy motherfucker right there.
Yeah, Mike, we're gonna go through.
Oh,
these.
that's all high school, Mike. If you want to just,
This is all high school Mike right here.
yep, all of that.
Okay. Well, I don't. That might be you and somebody else. I'm not gonna put. That up there.
No, yeah, that's me and my high school girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
That's me in Florida camping. smoking a grit, checking my phone.
All right.
I thought you were shitting in the bush.
Me also in Florida.
Who are
Look
these
at that
people?
look on your face, Mike. Look like you mean business.
Yeah, he ain't fucking around. Look at him.
Mean looks.
Look at that. Look at that facial hair. That's some Orlando Brown looking motherfucker.
You were the king here.
I was the king.
Oh my God.
I
That
guess
was
that
our
was
Halloween dance.
You mean those at Burger King?
Look at Mike right here. Like he's just like, look at his face.
Man, I used to keep the burns long, dog. I
Oh,
can't
shit.
believe I used to do that.
Now Mike's dancing.
What in
Why are there
the
so many unflattering pictures of me in high school?
It's just everything's just this. Yeah, this is. What kind of move you doing here, Mike?
I don't remember.
This is 2013.
Looks like the cha-cha slide if you had to ask me.
Oh, here we go.
Me and my buddy Corey.
What is going on here?
I don't know. I think we're
doesn't
at
look right.
Kelly's Island or
Oh,
something
boy.
like that, or North Point. Yeah, we were swimming.
What's
Oh,
your take
no.
on this, Jeremy?
Oh my God, that was
looks
2013. Jesus, I'm
It
getting
looks like
so
a
old.
couple of dudes that, you know.
It looks like the cast from Dude, Where's My Car? Oh wow, you're going far back. Yep, there's
Mike's
very
made
young
that
Mike.
pose many a times in his life.
Oh, I love that family photo. That's a great
you?
photo of me and my sisters. Yep.
They look like you. Damn.
Oh, it's me getting baptized at the bottom.
Right here.
My Callahan auto part.
Damn, your Mike was crazy.
Me and Pops. He was a bigger version of me. If I could ever gain weight, that's what I would have looked like. And if God wouldn't have graced me with luscious flowing locks. Oh, yep, there's little me.
Luscious flowing
Young
lock.
Mike. Look at young Mike.
Very young Mike. I look like fucking Spock. You see that? You see my ears, dude? That's me
Yeah.
baptizing one of my friends. I actually baptized him in this picture.
There's Mike right there. Hey,
God, I kept those burns, dude.
Burns. That's what I was about to say. You were rocking those things hard. There's Mike again.
It's Mike Hudock. That dude baptized me as well. I don't remember what I was doing. Oh, there's prom pictures of me up higher. Oh, the classic. Our pastor in high school, God rest him, his name was Keith. Craziest dude ever. He saved so many people. He would invite all of these fucking crazy high schoolers to his house, and his I'm still friends with his sons today. And he would in the dead of night, he would be like, "You guys want to go on an adventure?" He used to sound like that, Keith McCallum. And we would all pile into his van, and we would all, like, him and some of the youth pastors, and we would go to just somewhere. Like, it would be just some sort of, like, hiking trail, some camping spot he had found, and he would do, like, a mini teaching on the Bible. Great freaking times.
So you got Mike here. Oh yeah, there's Mike there.
That's 14-year-old Mike.
Look at the hair.
This looks
I
like
had
the Boys of Summer.
luscious flowing
You
locks,
said
dude.
what, Jeremy?
Look like the Kings of Summer. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Biagio.
Yeah, it does look like him.
Prom pictures of me. Oh my God.
Mike at prom. There's another serious face dad.
Damn, Mike, look at you, all dappered up.
Got the black and yellow.
I can
on.
always dress well.
Looking like $1 million there, buddy.
And then Mike evolved.
Actually, that's still young Mike. Oh, look how little Watson was. Oh, there's a classic. You missed a couple classics. Me, Wooten, and Campbell.
Right here.
Yeah. How long ago was that? Is that 2018? Jesus God, Baker Mayfield had just been drafted. That's a long time ago now. Yeah, I'll never forget that. That top 5 drunkest I've ever been is with those two.
Top 5.
Dude, keeping up with them was hard. Campbell is a stocky dude, and Wooten is Wooten.
Shout out to Leo.
Me and Leo,
Wooten can
my
pound
boy
some
Leo.
rules.
Here, Chief. Here.
Here, Chief. Here.
Damn.
Here, Chief. Here.
Mike and Fred Mart with an ice cream cone.
I was not at Fred Martin. That was at Handles. That was after I got off work. And I wanted some
your Fred Martin gear on.
Some sweet ice cream. And then there's, let's see. Oh, that's a classic Christmas party picture where I was the only one making a face because I thought everyone was going to make a face and they didn't. The big group picture right there. Yeah, no one else made a goddamn face. And I just look like an asshole.
You got Vince, Zach DeLong,
Look at
Mike,
Chandler
Brody.
back in the day. Buck Sheen.
DeLong.
DeLong.
God, whitest guy I ever met in my life.
Oh my gosh. What's his name? Ogden.
Yeah, Brody.
Look at Sheen.
Sheen's doing good. Me and Sheen hang out all the time still.
Here's Sport. Look at Sport.
Yeah, dude.
Sheen's an asswipe.
No. Sheen's a good dude.
No, Sheen came into my previous dealership while I was off one day to get his oil change because he had bought the car there. And he was in there saying a bunch of bad shit about me.
No.
Yeah, he did.
Well, oh my God. How did you find that picture? That's on Facebook?
And then I caught up.
Yeah, what is going on here?
I don't know. I think it's the fact that people are taking pictures of me when I didn't want pictures taken of me. This was like Skater
you
Boy
look pissed
Mike.
off here. Like,
this is Skater Boy
pissed
Mike
off.
time.
Yeah, that's not. You look very pissed off there.
That was Skater Boy Mike. That was the smoking more weed than I had money for, Mike.
The best though, still, when we did Jeremy's Instagram dive last year, and Jeremy was telling us a ton of stories about the many jobs.
I am not a photogenic man. At least I don't think I am.
You're very photogenic.
The wife thinks I'm photogenic. I don't think I'm photogenic. So any pictures that have been taken of me are against my will. I don't take pictures of myself. I do this. Like, I'm cool with this. But this is more controlled. I feel like pictures are like if you blink or if you like, the smallest thing can just make you look ugly in a picture. I've always been super self-conscious about pictures for some reason. Oh no. Yeah. I have one of the best pictures of your dad, I think, ever. And it's I think he was in the middle of singing a line to a song, but his mouth is just like this. And it was at the Fred Martin desk, and he was wearing his glasses. And it was the funniest goddamn thing. And then the other funniest picture I have is when me and Paul Smith photoshopped Scott Sanders has this stride that looks like he was doing this walk where, like, I can only describe it like he looked like a gorilla or like Bigfoot. Like he had both of his arms like this, like one in front, one in the back, and he was doing this long stride. So we took a picture of him and then photoshopped him in that famous Bigfoot picture of him like just walking through the woods in the Fred Martin gear. It was awesome. Here's
Jeremy, I remember back when we had that storm back in August. You were outside trying to be Reed Timmer out in the dealership. You went out there with
yeah,
Jeremy was out there in the torrential rainfall.
I went out there with the mallet for the gong.
Yeah.
He wasn't about there with no shirt on.
Yeah.
I think there was a customer in the showroom, so he didn't.
Some of my favorite times
The
were
rain was cold as shit.
I probably can't say. There was a certain dealership that did a certain car show that the antics during and after were always so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
else?
that was something else. But I remember, but it's funny though how many times my dad dares Jeremy to do certain.
Oh, Jeremy
crazy
will just
things.
do it. He doesn't care.
And he does it, and he just doesn't care. Like he just does it with. How do you do that? Why are you just
Jeremy. That's why I respect Jeremy. You know, me and Jeremy. Like, I think.
I'm down to have fun.
Yeah, he's
Jeremy's
down to
good
have fun.
You're great at like making people laugh and like just not giving a shit. Like
Yeah.
just,
Like me and Jeremy, I think have not opposite personalities. Like we're alike and we're different in a lot of ways. But me and Jeremy are very similar in that we don't care what other people think or say about us, and that's why we've always gotten along. Though I think when we first met, I think Jeremy disliked me, but I was loud and obnoxious, and I was a teenager when we met. So
I mean, I just didn't know how to take you. When we
that's
first
fair.
met,
That's fair. I'm like a shot of Rumpelmints. You either love me or you hate me.
I was like, who the fuck is this dorky ass dude? And then, you know, you get to know somebody over time, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
he's just a goofy goober, and I love him.
I am a goober.
I didn't like either one of you bastards when I met you.
yeah. I was
Oh,
about to
I
ask
know you didn't
what,
like me.
What was your
You met me? I know that.
as the manager? What was your reaction to both of these guys when you first?
Oh,
I
that's a good question.
I got the most iconic photo of Jeremy though is him sleeping in the car.
Oh,
On his
and
break.
to this day, he's saying hello. He's not sleeping.
Oh, he got cut. He's just out in the car like this.
He was
Due
sleeping
to
in
the
the front of
trade
the
in,
thing.
Cody's showing it during a meeting.
Yeah, he got caught just
I
sleeping
was
out.
in my car.
On
I was
4K.
in my Chevy.
Yeah, he was in
Cruze.
his car.
Oh,
I
was
know,
it
but
your
it's
car?
funny.
Well, Cody
Oh,
thought it was
funny
a
as hell.
trade in.
Yeah, well, Dad, what as the manager, what did you think of these two each when they first came along? Because I remember you used to tell me about Jeremy, and you'd be like, "Yeah, there's this goofy bastard named Jeremy. Him and I make jokes to each other, and he just
Well, you know what it is like. I'm probably not so much now, but back then I gave you no respect. It's like you had to earn respect. Like these young guys coming in, and I didn't have a lot of patience. You know, a lot of it's my fault, but you know they were new and trying to do their job and making mistakes, and I just would like these, you know, these stupid bastards. What I'd say, or so Mike, but Mike drove me nuts because it seemed like I remember for a little bit, every day he had to leave. Something was going on. There was always something. He was always bullshitting and getting out of work. And then I think it was when just working deals with Mike, he just would start to make me laugh. You know what I mean? He'd reach over and like Mike would reach over the desk and caress you on the side of the face. You wouldn't even know it. You know what I mean? I'd have like my head down, like writing, and I'd feel a hand caress me on the face, and then he'd be like, start calling me Schnookums. You know what I mean?
Hey, Schnookums, I got a deal for you. and it would be at like the most inopportune times. I remember one time I did it. You were like red faced after getting into an argument with John, and I just did. I was like, "Hey, Schnookums, I got a deal for you." You started like bursting out laughing. And I can't remember who was next to me, but like they saw the whole argument between you and John, and they looked at me like I just had like touched a nuke. like they were like, "Oh God, is he gonna kill him?" And you just start bursting out laughing.
But then I start to get to know the guys, and you guys have all heard me say I love characters. You know what I mean? So you get to know them,
Mhm.
and the rest is history. And the same thing with Jeremy. I can't. I think I just Jeremy. I think I just kind of like threw you in a whole. Yeah, just another young dipshit on a team or something like that. You know what I mean? That's how you initially think. That's how I used to think. I'm not like that now. But that was, you know, kind of just being an immature prick. But
I don't know if it's being an immature prick because, like, when you're in sales for so long, right? Like,
when I say immature versus how I am now, what I'm saying is there's a huge leap in the maturation process from now going back 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
I am nowhere near the same guy at my profession, and what I mean by that is how I treat people and really how I think of people and my patients. But instead of with Jeremy, it was just that's the great thing about desking, and that's the great thing about what we do for a living, is being in the trenches, working those deals. You get to know each other. You know what I mean? And that's where you start to build those relationships and those bonds. So it's just all in the car business. That's what happens. And but both were really turned out to be good salespeople. They could both close, and they earned my respect. And
When did
that's
you and Jeremy start to really like form that bond, that relationship, like goofing around and
right before I left this, not too long, second tour. Yeah, his second tour back.
A lot more mature.
Yeah, he was, and that's probably. And we worked better together. He was more mature. We worked better together. Then I left. And he'd call me. We'd go meet up at. He'd want to go to lunch. We'd go meet up at Taco Bell on Rummock Road, and next thing I know, he's calling me, saying, "Hey, I want to come there and work." And so. And then it just the same thing as time went on, working there together, became closer and closer, started actually talking about the things we're doing now. And it just all, it all worked out. So, but the way to here, I think everyone knows this. The way to my heart is to make me laugh. Both of them make me laugh. You know what I mean?
That's how I am, because obviously I learned from you, but I like people that can make me laugh, but I like people that are just like real. You know what I mean? Authentic, just like.
I will always be myself.
Yeah, like I just like people that are. I'd rather somebody just tell me how.
Is
they
that
really
a live
feel,
ball? That is a live ball.
Even if they feel like they're gonna let me down or something, I'd rather people just be honest with me. You know what I mean? Like just tell me what's going on. Or I think nowadays, especially society, too many people that are afraid to talk to each other. There's just so much confusion, which creates a lot of confusion and just a lot of it just.
Stop with the celebrations. I hate it. Gosh, it's so corny.
Look at them. Look at them. They're flying. They're flying around.
What have you learned, Jeremy? You've been on the desk as a manager now for how long? A little year and some change.
Yeah, like 15 months.
How's your? How is like your perspective change? You notice a lot of the same things my dad noticed, like working with people, how you relate to people differently, or you've always been a funny, outgoing guy, anyways. But
yeah, I'd say that's it's patience.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you're the one going back talking to the customer. You have the majority of the interaction. You have more control over the interaction, and having the patience and the trust in the guys that they're saying the right things, doing the right things to get to the end result, which hopefully would be selling a vehicle. But at the same time, knowing when I think like the most irritating thing is like when I'm not going to name names, but when somebody that's been doing it longer than I have, and you get their paperwork and it's like half-assed.
Yeah, this guy here.
No, but it's like so.
That's me. That was
it's
me.
like just it's frustrating because like we all make mistakes. Like I still make mistakes. There's times your dad will make a mistake. we're human beings. We're not, AI programmed machines that, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not a mistake. It's just like like Joe's biggest pet peeve is like negligence. Like you didn't even try to do it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
effort.
instead of writing, husband and wife, instead of writing the address out both times, you just write same.
Yeah.
It's like if you've been doing it 25 years, you should know that that's not okay.
All right.
You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
see that, you say, hey, you can't write same. I need you to fill this. I need you to write the address out for me, please. The bank won't accept this.
All right.
If
I'll be
people
honest.
write it out, people don't care.
I'll be
But
honest.
it's just finding a balance of patience and, because like when I work deals with your dad, part of one of the reasons why your dad liked working deals with me is I would come up and be like, okay, your dad could ask me a question about the customer, and he would just randomly be like, what does the husband do? And I'd be like, oh, he's an engineer, worked here for 4 years. He'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, what's the wife's name? And I'd know the answer. Every now and again he'd ask me something, I'd be like, we didn't get that deep. You know what I mean? But I could
Yeah.
go up there and tell him like the background of the people, which gives him a better idea of, okay, this is how I can pencil this one. This is how I need to pencil this one. He's getting a better pulse for the customer.
Right.
Trying to, develop that. Like if there's certain people that if I come up to Joe and I'm start telling him, he's like,
Yeah. Got some fire.
Because he knows we're just about to scrape him off the ceiling. You know what I mean? It's just, you slowly develop the. I mean, desking is almost like a muscle memory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of muscle memory to it. There's, having faith in the guys to go out there and do what they got to do, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's not as glorious as what everybody thinks it is.
Right.
There's a lot more sacrifice than people realize.
Yeah.
Which is okay because at the end of the month the sacrifice is worth it. When all your guys are making money and hopefully all your guys are making money and things are good.
What
That's
do you
why
guys
we do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I sit around.
But my favorite, my
go ahead.
favorite part is like Zav works the majority of his deals with Joe just because they have that relationship. But like tonight, I got to work a deal with Zav, a couple deals with Zav, and he's very receptive to your opinion, coaching. He's not afraid to ask questions, which I like. He'll be like, "Okay, hey, why are we doing it like this?" And I'll be like, "Okay, this is what we're doing. This is where this is, I want you to try to get her to focus on the payment. If she says something about the trade, try to drill back down on the payment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's very open to what you're telling him.
Yeah. It's that's the most fun part because, over time he'll continue to learn and develop and be more and more confident and, helping somebody. The goal is, like Joe kind of did with me. I came in as a Greenpeace selling 8 cars a month, not taking it as seriously as I could have. And then on my second stint, changed things up a little bit and am where I am now. And hopefully, at some point your dad's going to retire. And, by the time I retire, hopefully I'll have been able to do that for somebody else as well and help them, provide more for their family and gain in their career.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, learn how to adapt to different people and stuff. I got a question for all you guys. It's something I was thinking about earlier. Where do you think you've grown the most in your life in the last year?
Where?
Yeah, anywhere in your life. If you had to think the last year of your life,
My
where's
waist.
where's the most you've grown in your life?
My waist. I'm gonna say me, and I'm gonna say probably, especially just in the last 6 months, uh, patience. My waist, patience,
You
because
motherfucker.
it seems like even when I got there a little over a year ago. I mean, here Jeremy took a lot of a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of days I was just blow up over shit and just probably seemed like I was half crazy, but and he took it and dealt with it. But I don't. It seems like it's been probably a good 6, 7 months though. I've kind of chilled the hell out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just I say
Rather
pay.
than blowing up, he'll ask me why I did something.
Yeah,
Then he'll actually give me a chance to explain why. Hey, I thought this
Yeah.
because of this. Not just.
well,
not
you
just
know what? But you know what? That goes back to the respect thing. It's like I don't know why I'm like that, but it's just like it takes a while to gain my respect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
My the intent's always good, but like your mom says, Joseph, she'll say, honey, your intent's always good, but sometimes your delivery's terrible.
Delivery sucks. Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of coaches sometimes. Like, I had to learn that. A lot of athletes will say that. Like, or just if you have somebody of authority above you, Mike, maybe you've learned this. Sometimes you have to listen to what they're telling you, but just don't listen to the delivery.
Right.
Don't focus on the delivery. Listen to the message.
I mean, it's
Ollie?
I think we're all guilty of that at times, though. Like we let our emotions kind of, rather than just breathing for a second, and I'll tell you, I'm not the most like when I want to say something, like if I'm trying to get like communicate, like I try to like at work sometimes I don't realize my tone. I'm just like talking,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes
Just in the
it's like,
moment.
yeah, just in the moment, like just answer, boom, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, okay, is that coming across as being kind of brash or whatever? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where like, Owensby sometimes be like, damn, why you gotta say it like that? I'm like, I didn't. I was just answering your question.
That's exactly how I said that too. Damn, I could say like that.
And like, I was just answering your question. And he was like, damn, dude. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to be like that. I was just answering your damn. I'm doing 3 other things and trying to answer your question. You know what I mean? That's like,
Yeah.
I'll catch myself and be like, okay, like, you got to be more mindful of the way you say things.
You know what? You know what? Probably one of the toughest things of that job is, and it's always been like this. And I was thinking about it Saturday, and I was walking through the showroom. It just popped in my head as I was walking back to the desk. It's just there's always someone in your face. There's someone in your face, especially when it gets busy and you're by yourself. It's like it's just someone in your face every minute for 9, 10, 12 hours straight. You never get a break. Always someone needing something. You know what I mean? So they need something, and that's it's the business. That's what it is, and they're up there trying to do their job. But sometimes it can get tiresome when there's constantly someone in front of you that needs something, or they're just in front of you. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you just want to just, gosh darn, just give me 15 minutes. Nobody come and stand in front of me. I used to do this when I was at the superstore. I got to the point where I made this sign that said, "I'm eating lunch," and it was like it was a folded piece of paper, and I wrote it on it, and I would just put it on the desk in front of me. Like if it was like 4 o'clock and I was finally getting a chance to eat my damn lunch because I had a headache, I was lightheaded. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I got to eat something. I got to take 5 minutes and eat something, or 2 minutes, or however quick I can inhale this food and get back to work. But I'd put this little thing up that said,
I remember
"Don't,"
that shit.
you know what I mean?
Well, you see at Circle K now, or this Circle K by our house. You got this kid that works there at night. Every time I go, it's get cold outside, rain and torrential downfall. I go to the door. It's closed. It's locked. We'll be back in 5 minutes. He's in there taking a shit. And it happens all the time. And there's like 5 customers, including myself, outside. It's raining out one day. He's in there taking a shit. And he comes back, hey, what's up, guys?
Man, when there's always someone in front of you needing something, there's 2 things with that job. Everybody needs something, and you're constantly having to make a decision. You're making, who knows how many decisions we make in a day, how much information we process. But every time you make a decision, it fatigues your brain more. Every time you have to make a decision. So that's why a lot of times after those long days, you're just like, your brain's just fried. You get home, you don't want to talk.
Mm.
But yeah, it's certainly not a physical job, but it's mental. And sitting on it, I tell people all the time, I told Jeremy this, I've told a lot of people, everybody wants to be a manager or a finance manager, but it's not what it's all cracked up to be. There's a lot of pros to being a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's pros to both. So
yeah, I think it's like
definitely
something.
pros to both.
yeah,
I think like the constantly in your face.
yeah,
like there's times like, Holly will be I'll be trying to get a deal ready, and somebody will come up and be like, "Hey, can you pencil me on this?" And it's like, "Is your customer in the showroom?" No. Okay, let me get Holly's deal ready for for the customer that's here real quick.
yeah.
And then they get a little irritated that they have to wait. And it's like, guys, customer in the showroom, this person's got to, always takes precedent.
Right. What if it was vice versa? How would they want it done?
Mm-hmm. Or like tonight, we had 2 deals on the board at 6 o'clock. We had 4 people walk in the showroom from 6 to 6:05.
Yeah.
And we finished with 6 deals.
Yeah, I saw that. Was good.
I mean, pretty slow all day, and then at 6 o'clock, boom, 4 people show up all at the same exact time. And it's like, okay, it's go time. You know what I mean? You're trying to pencil this guy while this guy's coming back telling you what they countered at, and then the other guy's waiting to get his pencil. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, hey, here's your pencil. What do you got? And they're like,
Right.
She wrapped right up, first pencil. It's like, fuck, I should have penciled it higher. But all right, good job. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like what you said, though.
First pencil 580 on a Rogley's. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like what you said, though,
I should have
about
penciled it higher.
how you said you have to be more aware of me. Like, when Owens comes up and said, damn, why you got to say it like that? You're just not thinking, right? It's just kind of like, sometimes it's just like
it's
natural.
Just like, you just,
yeah.
you're answering
it's like you
the
said,
question,
Dad.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Dad. It's like you said. It's like just kind of how you were, something you had to grow out of. And that's something.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
That's how I
said earlier about respect. Like, you're just assuming or.
Well, your mind is so focused on what you're doing and all these different tasks that are lined up that, okay, you're slightly irritated, whether they're just doing their job, but the fact that they're asking you something slightly irritates, it stresses you.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of stress on top of what's already there. Every little task that's waiting to be done is a layer of stress. So when they come up and they just ask a question, you tend to just respond like very short. You're short with your answer. And I used to do that a lot. Or hell, I wasn't even just short. I mean, I'd just fire off. Somebody just asked me somebody just asked me an easy question, and they thought I was going to come across the desk at their asses.
Mike,
You know
how
what I mean?
many of those you get returned, Mike?
Quite a handful.
But
I remember one time.
It was a long
Joe's
time
like
ago, though.
7. I'll remember one time Joe's like, it was a Sunday, and I had people that like were open. They just came in because they wanted a Jeep
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted the lease. And I this is like my first stint, and I came up to the desk. I was like, Joe, what kind of a Jeep do I need to put these people on? They want a $450 payment. And he goes, why don't you take them on the fucking lot, see which one they like? That's usually a good start. I was
Right.
like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't think of that.
I guess I didn't think of that.
It's like, okay, which one can I put them on to make us money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that was like a two-sided answer. It's like, one, it's like, hey, Kate, hey, go do your job, walk them on the lot. And the other part of it is get out of my fucking face. That's really what I was doing. You know what I mean? Because if somebody asked me
I
now,
wasn't offended by it. I was just like, okay, I can see his point here.
because if somebody asked me that now, I wouldn't say that. Go out,
No,
you
you
know what I
never
mean?
say that now.
Well, no, I mean, but there might be a rare case where, because a lot of times it's just take the customer on the lot, let them walk, because they always see things that, you know what I mean? So there is occasion where I'll tell somebody, hey, just go out on the lot. But I tell them a different way now. But,
Yeah.
when it all changed for me was back in 2018 when I started going to Emerge, and I realized my passion was people. It wasn't production. I always thought it was production and perfectionism and got to hit the goals. How to hit the goal? Got to go 150 miles an hour, and I realized it wasn't about production. The thing that made me happy was the people and getting to know the people and serving the people, and
being around people.
Well, their personal well being became was more important,
Right.
and so then once that happens, you stop to take the job so serious. You start to realize it's just a job. They don't want to hear that shit, but it is what it is. I don't really care. It's just a job, and I stopped letting it be something other than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
it's funny. It's funny you say that because it's kind of like when you and I were talking about. Like I was gonna say, like where I've grown the most in this year is probably just not overthinking things as much.
just don't take things so serious.
Yeah,
I mean,
not taking things so serious. Like that's something I had. Like something you said earlier, Jeremy, about and Mike. Maybe you can relate to this. Is like when you talk about when Owens you come up and say that tonight you're not aware of it, right? And a lot of like kind of what you were saying along the lines. What I had learned this in the past year for me was more like I was still in that mindset of when all that stuff happened to me when I was 15. I was afraid to be around people, and I just thought people had a. I was worried about people's perceptions for so long. You know what I mean? How people thought of me, and it started to get me to overthink. And so, like, basically, what I'm saying is, I would have pretty much already think out people's think out people's opinion of me before I even gave them a chance to talk and get to know me get to know them. And a lot of times that's what caused my agoraphobia for all those years. Not wanting to leave the house, not want to be around people. And that's something I had to learn, which just like you guys were talking about, point out, just communicating, just like understanding that, like, okay, I don't need to. Not everything's what I think it is, especially with people. It's like you said, Dad. A lot of times it's just very simple. And what I found out in the last year was really how much just more in common you have with people than we think.
Yeah.
And how many people were going through the same shit I was going through, like Mike and Mike and I have had many late night conversations about
many late night conversations.
About Mike called me when he was going through shit, or telling Jeremy, and obviously Dad, you know I've had many conversations for a long time, but see me all through all this. But yeah, I think that it's just kind of learning how to. Like that's why I always post now serenity. I like that word serenity, surrender. It was like once I figured out serenity, this like surrendering and just letting go, truly letting go of things. and just trusting in God's will. And then, not only that too, you start to grow more in your faith, but just kind of just you have more grace upon yourself. That's where I had to grow this year. It's just like things aren't as serious as we think they are.
No.
Yeah, and to answer your question, where I think I've grown in the past years, I've tried to be less selfish because I think something God was really trying to show me is I really have to care and love for other people because, for a while, and this isn't a slight on the car business, I wouldn't be the man I am today without it, but in sales for so long, it does breed a sort of cynicism almost if you let it, and a sort of, got to look out for numero uno kind of thing, that competitiveness, at least at my first stint in it.
Protecting the business.
Yeah. So I really, getting right with God again and getting that at my forefront and, earning, not making my whole life about, basing my identity off of how much money I earn or if I'm doing better than this guy or, do I have a glamorous car? Or, stop being so materialistic and, start giving a shit about what really matters, which is, my relationships and people and, my faith. And, that's really, I've learned a lot this past 365 myself.
I think that's something we like, especially our age group, really struggles with. Is like we value all the wrong things nowadays because of social media. Even in, like you said, relationship. I think a lot of people value the wrong kind of relationships. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like you were saying earlier, Jeremy. Like when you didn't want to go just meet anybody, you wanted to find the right woman for you and somebody you saw you could, commit your life with, right? And that's like somebody like for me as a single person. That's kind of how I'm just kind of like I just want to wait till God has that one for me to settle with one person. You know what I mean? And have one. That's how I'm not like run around trying to
Molly,
meet somebody or meet
don't
whoever.
steal her toy, she'll eat you.
But no, I
Sorry.
think that's something we. No, you're good. That's definitely some. I think when you guys take on that, Dad. I know something you and I always talk about a lot. It's just like it's just crazy nowadays. Especially like I'm glad. As hard as the last 8 years were at times, and a lot of time painful they were, I'm glad I'm glad God took me away from the normal path because of how things are nowadays.
Right.
Just how people the value people place on things, like you said, Mike, with just material and stuff, and then you get older and stuff, you start to find out like that shit doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really what social media says to chase or anything. It's really just about your faith and family and what makes you happy. And then you find the right people along the way that kind of, go along with that vibe
Right.
you got going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
You see this dog, dude?
The biggest growth.
And they say pit bulls are dangerous. Look at this. There's no brain in here, dude. There's nothing going on in this brain. There's nothing in here. This is what a pit bull is.
What's that?
What do you got?
I'd say the biggest growth for me over the last year has been patience. And like having a child, obviously being a first time father, there's times and granted my wife does the majority of it, God bless her. She is a saint. But there's times where you're exhausted mentally and physically exhausted, and Luke will wake up in the middle of the night, crying, screaming, and you're just like, okay, what's going on? I really just want to go to sleep.
Mhm.
How are we gonna, get through that? Like, what are we gonna do? And it is like at times it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Just knowing that there's, breathing, taking a second. I might be frustrated, but he just wants to be comforted, or something's wrong, bothering him, or
Yeah.
the usual go-to is Joe's always like, he's probably got another earache. He's
Yeah.
probably got another ear infection.
He already knows what it
You know what I
is.
mean?
Heathen.
Yeah, you know what I mean, because he's done that twice with you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's times where Joe's come home from running the company and he's just fucking whipped. And I don't know if your mom always got up, or if you get up at 3, 4 in the morning. And there's
Yeah, when
times
I
where
was,
you're
my
just
mom
like,
would always
holy
get up.
shit, I need sleep. But
Yeah.
you got to be a parent. You got to be there for your kids.
That yeah, it does. One of my best friends just is a new father as well, and he's like legit the same sentiments as you. Like it makes you grow patience and know, the baby don't care if your dog tired, right?
Yeah.
But
And you
it's
start to change your life around it, like
right.
you plan your stuff around the baby,
Mhm.
schedule and things like that.
He really
Yeah.
runs the show.
Yeah, well,
He does.
there's now somebody more important than you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like, like I don't. When I get up in the morning, I mean, I'm getting up for 3 reasons: my wife, my 2 kids. That's it. That's it. That's what. That's it. That's why I get up. That's why I do what I do. Everything revolves around them in my mind, and it's a good thing, but it's not. I'm probably do it to a fault because you can't live your life like that. You still got to make time for yourself.
Mhm.
You got to have fun. Um, just can't get burned out. But I mean that's really what it's about. I mean, but I don't take. And another thing that's probably I've done as I've gotten older, I stopped taking myself so serious. You know what I mean? Like who the hell am I? You know what I mean? I'm just this glorified salesperson. I'm just a regular dude trying to be the best dad possible, best husband possible, best friend possible. Um, and when you do that, when you finally get to that, and that started back in 18 when I started going to Emerge, and you start to realize all your vulnerabilities, and you're upfront about it, and you talk about it, and you're no longer concealing. And when you stop doing that, you really don't care what people think. You know what I mean? And that's how you get to that point. Just being vulnerable. It's I used to not be that way. It was like, because when you're not vulnerable, you're always trying to live up to the standard that everyone else has for you, and it just stresses you out. And you can never live to the standard that every single person wants. You end up hiding things, and you stress about it, and you're spending money a certain way to try to meet these standards. Everything you're doing is phony, and you're not happy with it. So
Sometimes you miss out on opportunities when you live like that.
right, and that's so. Once I became vulnerable and I realized all my insecurities, um, that's when my whole life changed. You know what I mean? I just don't. I stopped and I stopped. I see myself in a different manner. I see myself as a perfect creation in God's eyes, and I see myself as I have a purpose. God has a purpose for me, but that's it. I don't
Mhm.
see myself of anything else. I don't see myself as this important person, or because I'm not. I'm really not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've learned too. Like Mike, I know you and I were talking about this one time. I can't remember when we talked about. Well, Mike and I have many conversations, but
Many a
that's
conversation.
Sorry, you
that's
wouldn't
something
look
I've
up.
had to learn too in the last year about being vulnerable and even like my private life, personal life, whatever you want to call it, being more vulnerable and putting myself out there and going for things I want, and just kind of going with it, and you just kind of, what it's taught me, I think, I don't know about you guys, but what it's taught me the most in the last year is just, it gets to the point where you kind of have to, not only, like I said, surrendering earlier to God, you kind of have to surrender your ego.
Yeah.
And you have to, once you surrender your ego and you let that go, you really don't care about, you find out what's really important, what's not.
Yeah.
Right.
110.
You
'Cause when
stop chasing vanity.
well, you stop chasing, but you also stop trying to control things or trying to find out things. You know what I mean? You're constantly worrying about things. Worry and anxiety and trying to be a control freak or a perfectionist, whatever you want to, whatever it is. So once you surrender your ego, it's like you start to really find that I think Jeremy had to bounce, but we had the kid start crying. Like he just says, "Yeah, go to daddy duties right now."
Yeah.
But
Take
yeah, that's the
precedent.
biggest thing for me. We'll wrap up with this. It's just finding that's biggest surrendering the ego this year. Just especially I would say really since June. That's when I really felt like I've taken off and really took time away from things and let things go. And like Mike, some of the things you and I talked about early last year, I was worried about, or
Right.
but I I look back at myself a year ago. Hell, I even look back at myself back in May, or like April and March or something. Somewhere in there. It's just a different person I see now in a better way. Like just a different, less, more at peace, and just letting things go, and just uh, whatever happens, happens.
Right. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. Well, this is a unique version of the reel. We want to do more of these actually with different guys on too. Just kind of like I know you guys thought of this one tonight. This was planned last minute too. So that was kind of cool though. Just kind of sitting back, chilling, talking about life, and we
Y'all
had some
got
fun.
robed.
Yeah,
Got robed Mike this evening.
yeah. Had some history lessons from Mike, and got
Yeah.
to see Mike's
Molly, want to
past.
say bye?
Mike, why don't you tell people, and Dad, you too, why they need to subscribe and share and
'Cause
like this video?
If you don't, I'll slash your tires. Like,
Now we don't want to commit crimes.
subscribe, hit the bell, hit the notification icon, whatever the Rumble equivalent is. I know you drive a Mercury.
No, it's on YouTube.
They're easy to
Hit the
find.
subscribe button on YouTube.
Hit that subscribe button. I know you drive that Mercury Mariner out there. Don't think I don't know. I'll slash them tires. You'll have to buy a whole bunch of them.
A bunch of them.
Menace Mike's gonna go out and
the menace.
Menace Mike. Dad, tell him why. Last night my dad told him. How many times I gotta tell you? Go ahead, dude.
All right. How many damn times I gotta tell you? I've been a part of this for 9 years. I've watched everything that goes into this. I've watched the passion that goes into it, the work, the planning of the show. Even if you like it, subscribe, share. Even if you don't like it, and even if you don't want to subscribe, share it, because there's someone in your life that there's someone that's dealing with some kind of anxiety or some kind of stress, and they don't, or they may not even know it, but they have these feelings and they don't know what it is, and it's making them more scared, and it's creating more anxiety for them. Share it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't feel like you need it, share it, because there's someone that does. Do them a favor. It's mental health gets overlooked so much, but it's a tragedy. It's not taken serious and it's overlooked. And when you find things that are not not putting down taking medicine or anything like that, but these hearing other people's stories, that's the most therapeutic thing, for people who deal with that, because then they realize hey, I'm not this oddball. There's millions of other people the same way. So good content, great content, especially for the younger generation. Share it, damn it, share it.
And you get really dumb dogs that you get to see every now and then.
Right.
Say bye, Molly. Can you say bye?
Bye. Here, Molly, salute out. We'll go. We'll see you guys
Salute.
in the next
Hold
one.
on. Where's
Hold on.
there we go.
We're out of here.
She's saluting. Later.
Gone.